Hey guys, it's your boy Rod from DBZSHFIGS.com, and today I'm bringing to you every missing S.H.Figuarts from the original Dragon Ball series. So basically, if you've seen any of my two previous videos on Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT, I'm going to go over the characters that I think should get an S.H.Figuarts or that I personally want to see. Maybe you don't, but if a character that you want to see is not mentioned here, make sure to leave it in the comment section. For some reason, I always miss somebody important, but I'll try not to. I think with Dragon Ball specifically, I feel like there's a lot of characters that are not really seen as quote unquote important enough to get a figure. So I know there's going to be a lot of varying opinions on this. But anyways, without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, I have Android 8. He's the 8th android that Dr. Joro created. And, it was an android that the Red Ribbon Army thought was trash, basically, because it turns out he's a really good guy. He ends up helping Goku in his adventures. So I feel like his design will be pretty good. And likelihood of seeing him get made into an S.H.Figuarts, I would say, is pretty high, to be honest. I feel like he's important enough to warrant having its own figure. But anyways, next up is Arale. So Arale is a character from one of the other Akira Toriyama mangas, but she does make an appearance in the original Dragon Ball and in Dragon Ball Super, I believe, as well. She comes out and she's always portrayed as being super OP. So, I'm not sure how the licensing thing works. And they have to get like an additional license just to make her figure, but if they can, that'd be cool. Hopefully she comes with the two little green-haired angels that are by her side most of the time, and then a few pink poop accessories. I feel it would be really funny. But anyways, moving over to Bacterian. So Bacterian I believe has a low chance of being made, but I think it would be a fun addition to the line, especially with the Kid Krillin that we have, because to me, it was one of my favorite moments in Dragon Ball. One of the goofiest moments when Krillin is fighting Bacterian at a tournament. And, he's supposed to be like this really smelly guy. And that's how he defeats his opponents. And then Krillin is getting beat up and he can't stand the smell. And then Goku reminds him, hey, Krillin, you don't have a nose. Like, what are you worrying about? And he's like, oh, damn, you're right. And then he just beats him up. But anyways, going on to the next one, Bandages the Mummy, one of Fortune Teller Baba's fighters in her little tournament that she had. He was actually pretty strong from what I remember. He eliminated Yamcha, and then apparently no one has ever been able to go past him. Pretty simple design, so I feel like he would be pretty easy to make. Likelihood of being made, though, medium to low. I feel like there's more important people in that saga specifically to make. So maybe once Tamashii Nations, Bandai, they run out of ideas, they'll go back to these lower rung characters. And speaking of lower rung characters, it's Bear Thief. So this one's honestly one that maybe I'm the only one that wants to see be made. I just feel like the character design is really cool. However, the character is very unimportant. If I remember correctly, he gets beat up by Goku with one punch. But I always thought the design was pretty cool. A bear that's kind of like a pirate that has a sword, But next up is Bora, and I put Bora with Upa because I feel like he should be included. Bora's this big Native American that befriends Goku, and, unfortunately he dies thanks to Tao Pai Pai. But the Dragon Balls are gathered and wished upon to bring him back. I feel like likelihood of seeing him in S.H.Figuarts is very high. I feel like he's very iconic in Dragon Ball. So I'm pretty sure once they go back to Dragon Ball releases, we will get him. Next up, Pirate Robot, another one that I thought just looked really, really cool. I don't know, something about that design just looks cool. He protects the pirate cave. I like the fight he had with Goku. Likelihood of being made, probably pretty low. I don't think anyone's dying to see this figure. But anyways, Captain Yellow, We're heading in with the Red Ribbon Army. There's a lot of characters from that organization that could become figures down the line. Captain Yellow would be pretty low on that list. I don't remember him specifically being important, but if we want to be a completionist with everything from Dragon Ball, we got to include these minor characters. So I think down the line, like 5-10 years, he'll probably get made, and only once, and that's it. But it'd be nice to have him. And then Chi-Chi, specifically from the end of Dragon Ball at that last Tenkaichi Budokai, I think has to be made. High priority, high likelihood of being made. I think it just has to happen. Next up, I have Chotsu from like his first appearance when he was with the Crane School. I'm not opposed to getting Chotsu as its own figure if they include better accessories. Like there was that one time where he called Krillin like bald, and Krillin was like, well, you're bald too. And then he removes his hat and he has like one string of hair. So maybe like a exchangeable headpiece with the hat and the one hair. That'd be cool. And then maybe if they could do something cool with the abilities that he has, that'd be pretty nice. But yeah, anyways, back to the Red Ribbon Army. I have Colonel Silver and Colonel Violet. I feel like Silver probably has more of a likelihood of being made just because I believe he was a bit more important in the story. Violet, probably very low chance. Like maybe they'll get to it, and like I said with Captain Yellow, 5 to 10 years down the line, Not really dying to see either one of these characters like as a top priority, but I would like to see them eventually. Next up, Commander Red. So he is basically the leader of the Red Army, Commander Red, Red Army, Red Ribbon Army. He was portrayed as being very important, but I feel like once Goku reached him, he quickly got overthrown. So, it's nice to have him for like dioramas and stuff if you want to portray like the Red Ribbon Army. But yeah, I feel like he has a pretty high likelihood of being made just because he was that leader of the army. But next up, we have two of Demon King Piccolo's children, Symbol and Drum. So, although I like Symbol's design, like it'd be cool to have like a nice dragon. It just reminds me of OG Dragon Ball when they had all these weird designs based on animals and stuff like that. Symbol I feel like has a pretty low chance of being made. Drum, on the other hand, he looks more simple, but he's one of the most powerful of the children, so I think he has more of a likelihood of being made. I'd love to see all the children, to be honest, just to have them all with King Piccolo in my display. But anyways, we keep on moving. Emperor Pilaf, Mai, and Shu. These ones, I think it's a shoo-in to be made, no pun intended. Iconic characters from Dragon Ball. Surprised they haven't been made yet. So I'm pretty sure we'll see them within like the next 5 years for sure. Next up, Fangs the Vampire, another one of Fortune Teller Baba's fighters. This one, I like the design. I don't know why. He looks funny. He just looks interesting. Like that, I've never seen this iteration of like Dracula. So it looks cool to me. I want to see it. I want all the fighters. The one I didn't include was the Invisible Man for obvious reasons, Like, how would they incorporate that? Are they going to sell us a box with no figure inside and just say, oh, it's Invisible Man? I don't put it past them, but I doubt they'll do that. And I doubt they will make them just with like Master Roshi's blood. I don't think that would get greenlit, so I just don't see him being made. But Fangs, low chance of being made, but I'd love to see it. And then, of course, these two have to be made. Grandpa Gohan, complete with mask and his halo. And then Fortune Teller Baba. I hope they come packaged in together. Fortune Teller Baba doesn't really need articulation. It would just be like the standalone figure with like a plastic stand just to have her floating. But yeah, Grandpa Gohan has to be made. Top priority for me. One of the most emotional moments in all of Dragon Ball when Goku fights his grandpa, and then he like starts slowly coming to the realization that, oh, it's my grandpa, and then he just like breaks down in front of him. I think that's one of my favorite moments in all of Dragon Ball. Proceeding, General Blue and General White. So General Blue, to me, as I remember, is probably the most important out of all the Red Ribbon Army members. And maybe I'm misremembering, maybe I'm forgetting something important, but I just remember General Blue being involved with a lot during that saga. Like, he fought Goku quite a bit. So I think he has to be made. And we could have him here with his uniform. Or I know another iconic one of his looks is when he's like shirtless and like Bulma's like in love with him. General White, I'm going to be honest, I don't remember much about him. I think he was like in the snow area. So, I'm not dying to see the figure, but I'd love to have it just to complete my Red Ribbon Army. And then I have Osaru Goku from when he first transformed, when he was captured by the Pilaf gang. I think this one has a really high likelihood of being made. They already have sort of the mold from like the Vegeta Great Ape. So I think it'd be cool to go back and label it as an OG Dragon Ball release. Here's where I put my Gokus and Krillins. So we've gotten quite a bit of young Gokus already. So I'm not expecting much when they go back. But the one I would like to see is like when he was originally training with Master Roshi, when he has the turtle on his back and the blue sweatpants and stuff. I feel like that's pretty cool. And likewise with Krillin, we already have the kid Krillin. So I don't think they would go back and make too many new Krillins. But I'd love to see also the training Krillin with the turtle on the back, as well as the tuxedo Krillin. And the only reason I want the tuxedo Krillin, apart from him looking so funny, is, I think the moment that changed Dragon Ball to what it is today, in my opinion, is when the Tenkaichi Budokai tournament ended and we find out that Krillin is dead. That hit everyone so hard because we would have never expected one of the main characters to die like that. It just turned the series kind of dark, to be honest. So it's one of my favorite moments because if that had not happened, I don't think we have the Dragon Ball that we have today, where they weren't afraid of killing the characters. Of course, down the line, like Dragon Balls just brings everyone back. But at that point, for whatever reason, it just hit harder. And then lastly, I would like a Goku teen. So from like sort of the end of Dragon Ball, we have him when he hides his hair, I remember. And people are like wondering, who is this guy? Like Krillin or Roshi or Bulma couldn't recognize him. And then eventually he like unfolds his hair and they're like, oh, it's Goku. He had like a growth spurt. He's an adult, I think that's the main Goku we'd like to get. Next up, we have Kami, which I don't know how we still don't have a Kami, to be honest. Iconic character. I feel very high likelihood within the next 5 years we get a Kami. And then along with that is Mr. Popo as well. Someone I'm surprised. I don't want to say I'm surprised because, yes, he is important. However, I feel like his design, it's very stereotypical. So maybe that's why they're staying away from making a figure. But I'd like to see it, to be honest. And then we have Hero, who is basically Kami when he entered the Tenkaichi Budokai, I believe he was trying to see like Piccolo Jr. or something. I don't know. It's a little fussy, the details. But I remember him being there, so I'd like to see that. I feel like that one has a low chance of being made, but they did also make Jackie Chun, so maybe they'll get to Hero. We have Yajirobe and Korin. So these ones, also surprised they haven't been made. Yajirobe, I guess, technically is included with the Great Ape Vegeta, but that one is like tiny and has like no articulation. So I think he's deserving of getting his own figure, and hopefully he comes with a packaged in Korin, because Korin doesn't really need articulation besides maybe the tail and maybe his arms, but that's pretty much it. Surprised we haven't seen them, but I think they have a pretty high likelihood of being made. And then I put King Choppa here. I think he's cool. He's a previous Budokai Tenkaichi winner. You know, I'd like to include him because at some point he was like the strongest in Earth. So let's put some respect on King Choppa's name. Major Metallictron. I feel like this guy just looks pretty cool. Low chance of being made, if I'm being honest, but I would love it if they made him. He is another one of those characters that just screams OG Dragon Ball to me. So yeah, I really like that. And then I put Master Mutaito. Low chance of being made again. One of those not usually referenced, maybe here and there, but he's the one that trained Master Roshi, and he's the one that made the technique of putting Piccolo into the rice cooker. So I think that willingly, deservingly deserves a figure. And then lastly, Officer Black. So again, with Mr. Popo, I'm not sure if they would be down to make a figure like this, because I believe he was maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but he was kind of like the servant to like Commander Red. So I don't know if they want to make a figure of those types of stereotypes. But then at the same time, he ends up being like the final boss, you can say. So for that reason, I think he should get a figure. But likelihood, I'm going to put medium to low. Next up, I put Master Shen. So he's the leader of the Crane School. You know, not very important to the series. He's just a counterpart to Master Roshi. But if we're going to get a Chatsu and then coming soon a Tien, I feel like Master Shen would be cool to have just to like post them up together. And then we have Monster Carrot. Another one. I sound like a broken record, but another one of those OG Dragon Ball designs that I just find so funny and so cool that I'd love to see in figure form. You know, he early on villain. That's as far as I could compliment him, because he's not really that important and he's not really strong, but he just looks cool. And then Ninja Murasaki, very funny character. Very funny character. I want to see it. I think high likelihood of being made once they go back to OG Dragon Ball. You know, he was very funny with how he would fake his ninja techniques, and the big reveal that is like 5 brothers and they're not actually teleporting, you know. So I'd love to see him with his sword and stuff. And then maybe like a plastic background showing like the other 4 brothers, kind of like how they make the Dragon Fist with the Super Android 17. That'd be cool to see. But anyways, we move over. I have Nam and Oolong. So Nam, he's a fighter that enters a Tenkaichi Budokai to win money to send back to his village that doesn't have water, I believe. And he ends up becoming really good friends with Goku and stuff. And we even see him again in GT, if I'm not mistaken. So I feel like he has a pretty high likelihood of being made. And then Oolong, and I put Oolong Ramen Robot. So I think the Ramen Robot is an iconic, you know, image of OG Dragon Ball. They even show it in the end of Dragon Ball GT during the recap when Goku's leaving us. It just screams Dragon Ball to me, and I'd love to see it. I don't think Oolong should be his own figure. I think maybe if they do make the Ramen Robot, just include a little Oolong there for us. You know, he could have this army-looking outfit or like the modern outfit that we know. Next up, Ox King. So we have the young Chi-Chi already. She has already been released. Surprised there hasn't been an Ox King. I think with the release of characters like King Cold, maybe it opens up the door for Tamashii Nations to make an Ox King finally, seeing that people are most likely to buy them. I would get one personally because I really do love OG Dragon Ball. And then we have Piano, so that's another one of Demon King Piccolo's children. This one is portrayed as being like the smart one, the council. So I don't know, medium to low chance of being made. And then I put Piccolo Jr. So this one specifically is from his last appearance in OG Dragon Ball. So when he's still kind of like considered a teenager or considered to be around like Goku's age, you know, so it would just basically be the Piccolos we have already, but just with younger looking faces, I guess. And then I put Devilman, so another one of Fortune Teller Baba's fighters. I feel like medium chance of being made, medium to low, I guess. Like I said, from that saga, all I need is Grandpa Gohan and Fortune Teller Baba. And if they give us any of the other fighters, I'll be really happy with it. Next up, I'm move over to Yamcha. So I don't know how we don't have an OG Yamcha. I feel like his design was really cool. I'd love to see that one, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna get it. I think that's definitely down the next 5 years. And then if we could also get a Yamcha from later on in the series when he's like training under Master Roshi as well, and he has the orange reddish gi as well, I feel like those two would pretty much complete the set. And along with that should be included a Puar. We still don't have a Puar, so just including him. He doesn't need articulation, honestly. Just include him with one of the Yamchas. And then Tambourine, another one of King Piccolo's children, and I believe, in my opinion, the most important one, because if I remember correctly, he was really strong, and he's the one that actually killed Krillin, so iconic character for sure. And then lastly, we have Tien, Turtle, and World Tournament announcer. So Tien, if you don't know, I'm very biased. Tien is one of my favorite characters just because I always thought he looked really cool, and just I always thought he came in clutch so many times in Dragon Ball, especially Dragon Ball Z, when he had no business coming and fighting the likes of like Cell and Evil Boo. He still showed up. He still kind of put up a fair fight for like a few minutes. I just think he's a cool guy. So I'd love to see him with his Crane School uniform, or if they do a Tien with the 4 arms technique, I would like to see that, And then I'm remembering now, alongside with the 4 arms technique, I should have included a Master Roshi here for Turtle, because I don't think Turtle merits his own figure. I believe it should come with a Master Roshi. I'm surprised it didn't come with the Master Roshi that we already have, but that one's hard to get nowadays. So if we get a new Master Roshi, I'd love for Turtle to be included with that, and maybe make one of the really buff Master Roshis when he's doing his Kamehameha. I know they teased it and they had a prototype a few years ago, but they never released it, so I'd love to see that now. And then another idea that I had was like maybe they make model kits or like scene kits, and then maybe they make like a Kame house and just include the Turtle there. But anyways, lastly, the World Tournament announcer. If you saw my Dragon Ball Z video, I mentioned him there. I'd love to have him for like Tenkaichi Budokai displays. He's important. And like with what I just said about the kits and stuff, maybe they make a Tenkaichi Budokai kit and he comes along with it. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. But anyways, that's going to really do it for me in this episode of Missing S.H.Figuarts. So if there are any characters that I missed, I know I went through a lot and I tried to go pretty quickly, but if there's any that I missed that you think should be made into an S.H.Figuarts, leave it in the comments below. But anyways, I hope you have a nice, great rest of your day.